Welcome to this second episode on the subject of emotional intelligence. This is really the continuation from the last episode, and this episode will go into the interpersonal skills and areas of competency. It is important that you listened to part 1 first, because the intrapersonal skills and competencies are the foundation of emotional intelligence. I keep stressing that knowing about the self first, having the accurate self-awareness, and having developed self-management skills is the foundation, and it is like the foundation of a house on which you will build your social awareness and social skills. So let's continue with exploring the interpersonal skills and the world of the social environment. So let's start this second episode with the interpersonal skills. And the first area is social awareness. And the first of the 3 skills of social awareness is empathy. Here we start with the mirror neurons and the emotional connection. Neuroscience shows mirror neurons fire when we observe emotions in others. This is why we flinch when someone else hurts their toe on the table leg or somewhere, or the leg of the bed or somewhere. Mirror neurons are a group of neurons that fire both when we perform an action and when we observe someone else performing that same action. They're thought to play a role, actually a key role, in our ability to understand and empathize with others by allowing us to essentially mirror their actions and emotions in our own brains. The mirroring process can create a sense of shared experience and connection, fostering emotional connection. And there is a difference between cognitive empathy and emotional empathy. Cognitive empathy is understanding another person's emotions and perspective on a rational level. It involves thinking about how someone else might be feeling and why they might be feeling a certain way. Emotional empathy, on the other hand, is feeling the same emotion as another person. It's a more visceral and immediate experience that can lead to a deeper sense of connection and compassion. Both types of empathy are important for social awareness, as they allow us to understand and respond to others in a sensitive and appropriate way. Linked with that are active listening skills, which is something that's important to be practiced, as well as perception-seeking exercises. Now, active listening skills is really intently listening and being present with the person you are listening to. And it's not always interrupting with comments or something that you feel you need to say something about, but just give them the space to speak. And when they're finished speaking, then you can give any response. You can nod gently or occasional but not constantly and all the time. Just show them that you are present with them by being there, giving them the space with silence and the occasional nod or just a quick so that they know that you are there paying attention. You can then, when they're finished, give your response. Sometimes paraphrasing might help, and no interruptions. Not like in so many talk shows. I can't watch some programs on TV or kind of debates and things when they are barging into, they don't let a person speak and they immediately disrupt and interrupt with their own thing that they want to say, immediate triggers. It might be a tactic used by the media to kind of cause reactions, but it's not really the way to create empathy with someone or to let someone have their point heard. Yeah, I prefer debates where people get space. And apart from active listening skills, perspective-seeking exercises might be important as well to gain awareness about what is happening within the other person, why they say what they say, think how they think, to get a better knowledge of the other person. Empathy exercises encourage listeners to pause and to rephrase what someone says before responding. An example could be when a friend says, "I had a terrible day at work." A poor response would be, "Yeah, I had a bad day too." Then an emotional intelligent response may be, "That sounds really frustrating. What happened?" You accept the point that they had a bad day. And with curiosity, you want to explore more and find out more from the other person why they had a bad day. The next area of social awareness is service orientation. Emotionally intelligent people focus on helping others succeed. I have two real-life examples of leaders who were known or are known for service-oriented approaches. The first one is, and I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, Herb Kelleher, the co-founder and former CEO of Southwest Airlines. He was a strong advocate for putting employees first. He believed that if employees were happy and well cared for, they would provide excellent customer service, leading to a successful business. He fostered a culture of fun and camaraderie at Southwest Airlines, where employees felt valued and appreciated. The second example of a service-oriented leader is Mary Kay Ash. She is the founder of Mary Kay Cosmetics, and she built her company on the principle of empowering women and providing them with opportunities for personal and professional growth. She emphasized a God first, family second, career third philosophy, and created a culture where consultants felt supported and valued. Her focus on recognition and encouragement alongside providing high quality products fostered a loyal sales force and a thriving business. Her approach exemplifies service leadership by prioritizing the needs and well-being of her consultants. Key to being service-oriented is asking, how can I help? How can I add value? What do you need right now to improve your situation? The third area of social awareness is the organizational awareness, which is understanding group dynamics and emotional currents in teams. Organizational awareness applies not just to the workplace or organizations, but also to families, sports teams, groups of friends, whenever there's any kind of group situation. And we start exploring that with group dynamics. So group dynamics refer to the interactions and processes that occur within a group of people. Emotional currents are the shared feelings and moods that ripple through a group, influencing its overall atmosphere and behavior. Understanding those dynamics is crucial for effective collaboration, whether in a work team, a family, or a circle of friends, as I said before. So here's a breakdown of key aspects and how they apply across different group types. There are shared emotions. Emotions are contagious. If one person's feeling anxious or excited, others are likely to pick up on those feelings. In families, a parent's stress can easily transfer to the children. In friend groups, a shared sense of excitement about an upcoming event amplifies everyone's enjoyment. And in teams, a leader's optimism or pessimism can significantly impact team morale. Then there's communication patterns, like how people communicate within a group significantly impacts its dynamics. Open and honest communication fosters trust and understanding, while poor communication can lead to misunderstandings and conflict. In families, active listening is essential for resolving disagreements, and among friends, sharing openly about personal experiences strengthens bonds. In teams, like work teams, for example, clear and concise communication is crucial for project success. That actually applies to sports teams as well. I sometimes think in sports teams, the personal egos of players might be a bit in the way of achieving group success and good collaboration. Then there's roles and responsibilities. Within any group, people tend to fall into certain roles, whether formally assigned or informally adopted. These roles can influence how individuals interact with each other and the overall group dynamic. In families, there are parental roles, sibling roles, etc. Among friends, there might be the planner, the comedian, the listener. And in teams, in work teams, there might be project managers, team members, etc. Understanding these roles helps to predict and manage group behavior. There could be power dynamics. Power imbalances can significantly affect group dynamics. In families, parents typically hold more power than children. In work teams, managers have authority over their subordinates. Even in friend groups, there might be subtle power dynamics based on social status or personality. Being aware of these dynamics is important for ensuring fairness and inclusivity. Then you've got the group norms as well. Every group develops its own sort of unwritten rules or norms that dictate acceptable behavior. These norms can influence everything from how people communicate or how they make decisions. In families, there are norms about meal times, bedtimes, etc. And among friends, there might be norms about how often they get together or how they handle disagreements. And finally, we've got the work teams. Again, work teams, there are norms about work ethic, communication styles, etc. in companies that could also involve company culture. Then there's conflict and resolution as part of group dynamics as well. Conflict is inevitable in any group. How a group handles conflict can either strengthen or weaken its bonds. Constructive conflict resolution involves open communication, empathy, and a willingness to compromise. In families, learning healthy conflict resolution is crucial for maintaining positive relationships. Among friends, addressing conflict directly can prevent resentment from building. And in teams, mostly relating to work teams again, effective conflict resolution is essential for maintaining productivity and team cohesion. By understanding these dynamics and emotional currents, individuals can contribute to more positive and productive interactions within their families, friend groups, and teams. It's about fostering emotional intelligence, not just within ourselves, but within the group we belong to. It's important to recognize hidden power structures and how culture shapes behavior. That applies again to work teams, family, and circle of friends. So a practical tip is to observe how emotions shift in meetings or workplace settings, but also in groups of friends or other groups you may be part of, or in the family, of course. So a quick self-test for organizational awareness would be ask yourself, can I tell who holds influence in a room beyond job titles? Could sometimes depend on personalities as well. And the tip is to observe who people turn to for approval in a discussion. It could be the real decision maker they refer to. And the final of the 4 areas, the second one of the social areas, is the social skills. And social skills is about building strong and meaningful relationships. The first of the 3 areas within the social skills is the interpersonal communication, which is the art of reading body language and emotional cues. It also includes the power of tone and word choice in emotional intelligent conversations. And something to practice this would be, again, what I already mentioned a lot within the part of the self, is to pause before you respond in order to improve communication clarity. I actually mentioned at this point that there will be 2 more episodes coming on the subject of communication. One would be about communication basics, and the second one about different communication styles that you might find within an organization. So keep your eyes peeled, keep your ears peeled for those 2 episodes that will be coming up after this one. So I won't go too much into the subject right now of interpersonal communication. The second area of the social skills is the area of team functioning. And we're looking at the role of emotional intelligence in effective teamwork and collaboration, and how emotionally intelligent teams handle conflict and trust building. To look at that in more depth, we check out high EI teams and low EI teams, and what makes a high EI team and a low EI team. And we've got an example for the high intelligence teams, which is Google's Project Aristotle team. The study of this team found that the most successful teams at Google had one thing in common: psychological safety. This seems to be a key component of high emotional intelligence, where team members feel comfortable taking risks, sharing ideas, and admitting mistakes without fear of judgment. These teams had high levels of empathy, trust, and mutual respect, leading to better communication, collaboration, and innovation. Studies of high-performing sales teams have shown that sales teams with high emotional intelligence outperform those with low emotional intelligence. They are better at understanding customer needs, building rapport, and handling objections, leading to increased sales and customer satisfaction. Let's also look at effective leadership teams. When leadership teams have high emotional intelligence, they are better at making decisions, resolving conflicts, and motivating their employees. This leads to more positive work environment, higher employee engagement, and it improved organizational performance. High emotional intelligence teams are characterized by strong communication, collaboration, trust, and empathy. They are better at handling conflict, solving problems, and adapting to change. Low EI teams are teams with high conflict. Teams with low emotional intelligence often struggle with communication and conflict resolution. They may have frequent disagreements, misunderstandings, and personal attacks, leading to low morale, decreased productivity, and high turnover. Low EI teams are often teams with poor communication. Members may be unable to express their thoughts and feelings effectively, leading to misunderstandings and frustration. They may also be poor at listening and understanding others, which can hinder collaboration and problem solving. They may also be teams with low motivation. When team members lack empathy and self-awareness, they may struggle to understand and support each other's needs. This can lead to low motivation, lack of engagement, and decreased performance. Low EI teams often struggle with communication, conflict resolution, and motivation. They may experience high turnover, low productivity, and a negative work environment. Let's remember that emotional intelligence is a skill that can be developed. By focusing on self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills, teams can improve their emotional intelligence and achieve better results. And the third and final area of the social skills is values-driven leadership. It looks at how values-driven leaders inspire and influence. And I have two examples of two values-driven leaders for this area. The first one is Nelson Mandela. He was a towering figure of the 20th century. Mandela's leadership was deeply rooted in the values of equality, justice, and reconciliation. His unwavering commitment to these values guided his decades-long struggle against apartheid in South Africa. His willingness to engage in dialogue with his oppressors and his emphasis on forgiveness and unity after his release from prison. The second leader is Howard Schultz. As the former CEO of Starbucks, Schultz is a strong example of values-driven leader who prioritized employee well-being and social responsibility. He believed that Starbucks' success was intrinsically linked to the happiness and satisfaction of his employees. And his implemented policies like comprehensive healthcare benefits and stock options for both full-time and part-time workers. Schultz also took a stand on social issues like social inequality and veterans' affairs, demonstrating his commitment to using his platform to promote positive change. The emotions of leaders can affect entire teams due to the emotional contagion. A practical tip is to align personal and professional values for authentic leadership. This is important because if your internal values and the values of what you're supposed to be doing in your profession, in your group, in your workplace, if that doesn't align, then there will be internal conflict within you. Your body and mind will rebel in whatever way that is. So it's best to bring the values that you're meant to have for your profession, for your work, for whatever you're doing, and your internal values, bring them into alignment so that there will be no internal conflict and because any kind of internal conflict can show through in the way that you present yourself, that you show up to the outside world. So be aware of that. As you can see from this long exploration of emotional intelligence and the 12 competencies, the areas of the self and the social and all the sub areas and components, it is very important to develop your skills of emotional intelligence and how important these skills are for relationship building, for teamwork, for organizations, groups of friends, families, for life in general. Develop yourself first. As I say, self-awareness is the starting point. It is the foundation of your house, the house of emotional intelligence when you build it. Without that, you can't develop further the self-management, social awareness and social skills. And this concludes the second episode of the 2 episodes on emotional intelligence. I hope you liked the episode. If you did, please do share the episode with others and subscribe and follow the podcast, the Exploring Brain and Mind podcast, on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, other podcast providers. And I hope you tune in again to some of the next episodes. Thank you for listening.